Picture this. You've spent years building your life in America, working hard, paying taxes, raising your family. You hold a green card, that precious proof of your legal permanent residency. Then suddenly, news breaks about sweeping travel bans and your heart drops. Can they really take this away from you? Are you about to be separated from your family? Will that trip to see your aging parents become a one-way ticket to exile? This is the nightmare that millions of green card holders faced when President Trump's travel restrictions were announced, and the anxiety continues to ripple through immigrant communities even months later. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most controversial immigration policies of 2025, the Trump travel ban that has left families across America living in fear and uncertainty. Whether you're a green card holder yourself, someone planning to immigrate, or you simply want to understand what's happening at our borders, this video breaks down everything you need to know. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because immigration law changes fast, and staying informed could literally save your future in this country. Let me take you back to June 4th, 2025. President Donald Trump signed a sweeping proclamation that sent shockwaves through immigrant communities nationwide. The official title was lengthy and intimidating, restricting the entry of foreign nationals to protect the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. The order targeted 19 countries, claiming they lacked proper screening and vetting procedures or posed significant national security risks. 12 nations faced complete bans covering every single visa type imaginable, from tourist visits to permanent immigration. Another 7 countries got hit with partial restrictions that still blocked most pathways to America. The banned countries paint a picture across multiple continents: Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen faced total shutdowns. No tourist visas, no student visas, no work permits, no family reunification, nothing. For nationals from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela, the situation was slightly less dire but still devastating. They could no longer obtain immigrant visas or those crucial categories for tourists, business travelers, students, and cultural exchange participants. The proclamation went into effect at 12:01 in the morning on June 9, 2025. Imagine being from one of these countries. Maybe you had a visa interview scheduled for later that month. Maybe your paperwork was being processed. Maybe you were planning to visit family or start your American dream. In an instant, those dreams evaporated. Embassies and consulates stopped issuing visas in the restricted categories immediately. Families preparing for reunions found themselves staring at impossible barriers. Students accepted to American universities discovered their futures blocked by government decree. Now here's where the panic really set in for green card holders. During Trump's first term in office, his 2017 travel ban created chaos at airports. Legal permanent residents were detained, questioned for hours, and in some cases threatened with deportation, despite having lived in America for years. Lawyers rushed to airports to defend people's rights. Protesters flooded terminals. The memories of that chaos burned into the minds of every immigrant community in America. So when this new ban was announced, green card holders from affected countries, or really from anywhere, experienced visceral fear. Immigration lawyers across the country were inundated with panicked phone calls. Should I travel? Am I safe? Can they revoke my green card? Will I be allowed back into the country if I leave? These weren't abstract legal questions. These were life-altering decisions that people had to make in real time with incomplete information. The official policy stated clearly that lawful permanent residents were exempt from the travel ban. Green card holders could continue traveling to and from the United States. But here's the problem with that reassurance. Immigration enforcement doesn't always follow the letter of the law perfectly, especially during moments of policy upheaval. Green card holders were warned to expect enhanced screening at borders. What does enhanced screening actually mean? Longer questioning? Secondary inspection rooms? Hours of waiting while officers scrutinize every detail of your life? For someone who has spent years building a legitimate life in America, that uncertainty is terrifying. Immigration attorneys strongly advise green card holders from affected countries to avoid international travel if at all possible. Why take the risk? One lawyer I spoke with said even though the law technically exempts green card holders, enforcement can be inconsistent. And once you're denied entry or detained, fighting that decision becomes exponentially harder. Better to stay put, stay safe, and avoid giving any official an excuse to question your status. Think about what that means in human terms. Imagine your mother in your home country becomes seriously ill. You want to fly back to see her, to care for her, to be there if the worst happens. But doing so might mean you can't return to your job, your home, your children who were born in America and are citizens. Or consider someone who holds a green card, but their spouse is still waiting for their own immigration papers to be processed. Can they risk leaving? What if the rules change while they're gone? These aren't hypothetical scenarios. These are real dilemmas that thousands of families have faced. The economic impact extends far beyond individual families. In fiscal year 2024 alone, the United States issued over 160,000 visas to nationals of the affected countries in categories now blocked by the ban. Among those were tens of thousands of family-based immigrant visas, including adult children trying to reunite with parents and siblings trying to be together after years apart. Students who would have contributed to American universities and later potentially to the American workforce found their paths blocked. Professionals with specialized skills that American companies desperately need couldn't get work visas. Businesses that rely on international talent scrambled to adjust. Tech companies, healthcare facilities, universities, and countless other employers suddenly lost access to qualified candidates for nearly 20% of the world's population. Some companies moved operations overseas or hired people remotely in other countries rather than being able to bring talent to America. That means American jobs, American innovation, and American economic growth all taking a hit. The ban also raised troubling questions about its actual effectiveness. Take Chad as an example. A country with over 19 million people had only 451 suspected visa overstays in fiscal year 2023. That's a microscopic fraction of their population, yet they faced a complete ban. Critics argued the policy was less about genuine security threats and more about restricting immigration from countries the administration disfavored, particularly those with Muslim majorities or in Africa. Legal challenges began almost immediately. Civil rights organizations, immigration advocacy groups, and affected individuals filed lawsuits arguing the ban violated constitutional rights, exceeded presidential authority, and lacked legitimate national security justification. However, the Supreme Court had already upheld Trump's first-term travel ban in the landmark case Trump versus Hawaii, establishing that the president has broad authority under Section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act to restrict entry for national security reasons. That precedent made overturning this new ban in court an uphill battle. Meanwhile, the administration signaled this might just be the beginning. 36 additional countries received notifications that they could be added to the ban if they didn't meet certain security or data sharing criteria. 24 of those countries were in sub-Saharan Africa. If all of them were added, the ban would affect over 70% of that region's population. The implications were staggering, essentially cutting off immigration from entire continents. For green card holders watching all of this unfold, the message was clear even if they weren't directly targeted. The rules can change overnight. Your status, no matter how legal, no matter how long you've lived here, no matter how much you've contributed to this country, remains contingent on political winds you cannot control. That's a terrifying realization. Immigration experts offered specific advice for those holding green cards. First and foremost, if you've had your green card for 5 years or more and are eligible for citizenship, apply immediately. Don't wait another day. USCIS. Citizens cannot be subjected to travel bans. Citizenship provides a level of protection and permanence that even green card status cannot match. Second, carry your physical green card and proof of residence at all times, even for domestic travel. Increased immigration enforcement meant more checkpoints, more questions, more scrutiny. Third, avoid any activities that could draw negative attention to your immigration status, including political activism or protests, until you achieve citizenship. For those still in the visa application process, the advice was equally stark. If you have a valid visa and any possibility of traveling to the United States before new restrictions take effect, do it now. Pay whatever it costs for last-minute flights. Change your plans. Get on a plane. The cost of a ticket is nothing compared to potentially being banned for years or permanently. For people from countries on watch lists who might be added to the ban later, the urgency was even more intense. The human cost of these policies cannot be overstated. Families separated across oceans with no clear timeline for reunion. Children growing up without grandparents. Spouses unable to live together. Parents dying abroad while their children in America cannot risk leaving to say goodbye. These aren't just statistics or policy debates. These are lives fundamentally altered by government decree. As we move through the remainder of 2025, the uncertainty continues. Will courts ultimately strike down the ban or parts of it? Will diplomatic negotiations lead some countries to be removed from the list? Will additional countries be added? Will enforcement become stricter or more lenient over time? Nobody has definitive answers, and that uncertainty itself is a form of cruelty for those living under its shadow. What's clear is that immigration under the current administration has become increasingly restrictive, increasingly unpredictable, and increasingly stressful for anyone whose status is anything less than full citizenship. Green card holders who once felt secure in their permanent residency now understand that permanence is relative. The protections they thought they had can be eroded by executive orders, tested by enhanced screening, and overshadowed by the constant threat of policy changes that could upend their lives overnight. So there you have it, the complete breakdown of Trump's 2025 travel ban and why green card holders remain worried despite official exemptions. This isn't just about immigration law. It's about the fabric of American society, about who gets to be part of this country, and about whether the American dream remains accessible to people from around the world. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might be affected by these policies. Drop a comment below with your thoughts or your own experiences navigating immigration in these uncertain times. And definitely subscribe because immigration policy keeps evolving, and I'll be here to break down every development as it happens. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember that knowledge is power when dealing with complex legal situations like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.